Well, good morning and welcome, welcome, welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa. Welcome, first of all, to Unity Kitchener. I get so excited on these Sundays that we share. It brings back childhood memories. My dad came from a big family and they loved to get together, all the brothers and sisters. So I have these memories of being so excited that the cousins were coming. And that's how I feel on these Sundays. I'm excited that our cousins from Kitchener are coming to visit. So welcome. We're so glad you're here once again. Welcome to anyone who's new here for the first or second time. I hope and trust that you'll gain something from our time together. And of course, welcome to the heart and soul of our community, our members that show up to Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa here every Sunday. They're the reason we exist, and we wouldn't be who we are without all of the members of USCO. I'm Brenda Mason, your service facilitator today, and I am so grateful that we can all be here together. We'll begin our service this morning by recognizing the Algonquin Nation, on whose traditional unceded territory we gather to share this online service. We gratefully acknowledge them as past, present, and future stewards of this land. Miigwech. Now, we are part of the worldwide unity movement, and its foundation is affirmative prayer. So that's where we'll begin this morning. So please say good morning to our prayer partner today, Susan Hagar. Good morning, Susan.
Good morning, Brenda. Thank you and welcome. And let us begin by honoring the Christ light within us. Some may say, you may have heard, if you want to give the light to others, you have to glow yourself. So let us acknowledge together that this is the light I am, that you are. Some would call God, generating, organizing, destroying. Others say spirit, source, essence, divine mind. Throughout this service, use whatever word or words suit you. But this is our guiding light. This is the mind of Christ. This is where we meet in solidarity and know the truth of our being. So let us open this morning in prayer, and I invite you now to close your eyes if you wish and turn within and center in your heart. Take a deep breath, and we let go of our busy mind and center with that Christ light within us. And allow my words to be your words. I turn within to this place of knowing, this place of love and wisdom, this guiding light that brought me here this morning to be with community, to be with those who cherish what I do, this higher knowing, this one power, one present that informs my life. And I pivot and turn away from anything that does not acknowledge the wholeness that I am. And I embrace with gratitude all the forces of the universe and that which in my life that aligned to allow me to open up to greater possibilities, to have a
Susan, you're muted suddenly. Still muted, still muted.
Sorry.
There you go.
I am grateful for the love that brought me here to be in my community, to be blessed, to cherish the spiritual truth and principles that we know that bring us the greatest freedom, that bring us closer to the light of understanding. And for this knowing, and for this love, and for this wisdom, we release this prayer to the universe, knowing it lives on through us, as us. And so it is, and we say thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen.
Thank you, Susan. It's beautiful. Well, I don't even know where to start. There's just so much to talk about. It's a new month, first of all. We're into the month of March, and there are only 13 days until spring. And can't you feel it in the air? It's shifting. The days are longer. There's more light. You have this sense of hope for change that March brings, and I'm excited about that. We are introducing our new power in March, wisdom. We've started with faith, we went through strength, and now we started looking at wisdom, and we're leading off a powerful month of speakers this morning rather, with someone who has been both sage and mentor to both of our communities, Reverend Roxanne Buckle, speaking of the wisdom in Let It Be. Today is New Thought Day, and I'm going to mention that in the announcements. And tomorrow is International Women's Day. Where do we even start to drill into all of this? I think instead, Spencer Scarf, let's swing wide the doors. The time is right.
Let's do it. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for, and what this life's all about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. Lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I learned to keep it inside. Well, now it's coming loud and clear. I want a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, about kindness, about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. Lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
Thank you, Spencer. My blood is moving now. My vibration is that much higher. Thank you so much.
Picking up good vibrations.
You bet. Our vision at Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa is of an awakened world celebrating oneness. Do you sense an awakening in your world? Now, what does that look like? Let's all just take a breath and imagine and affirm an awakened world celebrating oneness. We do that through our mission of expanding consciousness and transforming lives. And don't the two happen kind of simultaneously? The awakening and the expanding, and the awakening and the expanding, and the awakening and the expanding are all happening together, and then rippling out, and then rippling back in a perfect system. The Unity Worldwide Ministries theme in 2021 is how to stay centered no matter what. And as we continue to highlight one of our spiritual powers every month, our focus in March is on our light of wisdom. Now, in doing my due diligence as service facilitator, I started reading about unity and our power of wisdom. And I got down into the 1930 writings of Charles Fillmore, The 12 Powers of Man. And his take on wisdom, he said that wisdom includes judgment, discrimination, intuition, and all the departments of mind that come under the head of knowing. The nerve center of this wise judge is called the solar plexus. Our gut instinct is the home of our wisdom. He goes on to say, cultivated by practices that quiet the mind and still the body, our light of wisdom allows us to see each life experience as a way to be more alive and to live more abundantly with greater purpose and meaning. And then he goes on to talk about the solar plexus being the meeting place of love and wisdom, and how our wisdom is so important in the digestion of our foods. And oh, it was just so ahead of its time and so fascinating. Our gut instinct, trust your gut, that's our wisdom. So I invite us to affirm together, I can handle any circumstance by tapping into the wisdom within me and all around me. And I think that's another really important element, what's around me. We have to go through life with our head up and our eyes open, because everything we need to know is available to us when we're available to it, right? Okay, Unity Worldwide Ministries produces a video every month. So this is the debut of our video for the month of March, Wisdom. Enjoy. I might watch that every day just to hear that little piece of music. I loved it, and I love the affirmations. Wisdom. Our announcements. First of all, congratulations and welcome to the prayer partner team. Cheryl Driscoll and Terriel. What a blessing you both will be to our team of prayer partners. We're so happy and delighted that you're joining this team. It's a very precious group in our community. They don't just let anybody in. It's a commitment, first to training and then to service. And our prayer partner team offers prayers during the Sunday service. They do private prayers with our people during the week for anyone who wants them. They prepare and present our Serenity service once a month. I think our prayer partners serve as shelter in the storm, in life's storm, the same way the Coast Guard does in our physical world when there are storms. They're trained to serve. And that training, again, they don't just let anybody in the boat to go out and find somebody. They're trained. And the training is mandatory to be part of the program. It's held annually. This year it's being presented in a really special way. It's being broadcast from Unity Village, and it's being led by Reverend Myrtle Fillmore, the author of How to Pray Without Talking to God, one of my favorite books of all time ever, and Divine Audacity. I think the training will be outstanding, and the training costs $2,000. And that's where we come in as a community. I believe we believe in this program, correct? So here's how we can provide that training to our prayer partners. It's easy. It's just a special or designated donation same as you always do every Sunday. And we only ask that you mark it as PP training so that we can track the designation of reaching our goal of the $2,000. The training's in March, so we don't have a lot of time to get this funded. Please, in addition to your regular donation, support our prayer partner team so that Cheryl and Anne can get to work and serve this community. And once again, to both of you, we are just so pleased and delighted to have you join our prayer partners. So it's a community. Let's do this together and support our prayer partner team. And also, if you're curious and you'd like to learn more about the training, there's a link in the USCO newsletter to tell you more. Every Tuesdays after Reverend Roxanne has done a talk, she has a spiritual cafe, and it's a well, I'm not even going to tell you what it is because I've got the source right here. Reverend Roxanne's here, and I would invite her to come on. And Reverend Roxanne, can you briefly tell us about what happens at the spiritual cafe? Good morning.
Hey, Brenda. Hey, everyone. Just this is an opportunity to dive deeper into something we've covered. The next announcement is going to be about New Thought Days. So the Spiritual Cafe is just an opportunity. It's very informal, interactive. I do prepare some stuff. We'll go through a meditation, some music. Think of it as another opportunity to deepen into your ability of wisdom. So I'd love to see you there. We have changed the time and the day, so please note. And the link is either in the newsletter or you can email Sheila at officeunityottawa@yahoo.ca for the link. So hope to see you on Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Thank you, Roxanne.
Spiritual decaf is good too. Love it. Yeah, love it. Diana Romero, you crack me up.
Oh, as Roxanne mentioned, today is New Thought Day. It's a holiday that was founded in 2012 to celebrate the New Thought movement. New Thought is defined as a modern spiritual philosophy stressing the power of right thinking in a person's life. And isn't that what unity represents? There's a wonderful, if you go into our newsletter, you'll find a link to more information. And part of that information is a wonderful PowerPoint that historically shows the history of the New Thought movement. And certainly pioneers in that movement were Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, who founded Unity. And when you consider, I guess that was back in, I wrote it down here somewhere, 1889, it's kind of old New Thought, really, but it was revolutionary in its day. And again, as Roxanne mentioned, that's something that we can go into a lot more detail in at the cafe on Tuesday. But find a way to celebrate New Thought and being part of the New Thought movement. And I would recommend popping on and looking through those pictures. There's some wonderful photos and ideology that explains how we got here from there. And just a quick quote from Charles Fillmore: "I refuse to be anxious about tomorrow or even the next minute. I know that God does provide for the fulfillment of his divine idea, and I am that divine idea." New Thought. Next week, we're going to join with Unity Kitchener with Michael Swinwood. And then the week after that, Sunday, March 21, Martha Creek is here. And she will be speaking again on wisdom, the two necessary paths. And we all know how much we love Reverend Dr. Martha Creek. So share far and wide with all your friends who would love to get tuned in and tuned up a little bit with some practical theology, with lots of humor and wisdom. Martha Creek, Sunday, March 21st. And of course, there's more information for all this and more in our newsletter. And I'm sure in the Unity Kitchener newsletter, I could say the very same thing. In Ottawa, ours is available at officeunityottawa@yahoo.ca. Kitchener, you know how to get yours if you don't have it already. And it's a source of all this and more. There's always lots to learn in our weekly newsletter. It's one of our main ways of connection. Okay, enough of Brenda talking. I think now what the world needs is love, sweet love. Don't you agree, Spencer Scarf?
Yep. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another meadow. There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow. There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine. Oh, listen, Lord, if you want to know what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for just everyone.
That brings back great memories, Spencer. Thank you. What the world needs now is love. Reading our daily word this morning, our community's newest real estate agent. Boy, what a way to pivot in an inspiring way during a lockdown, Sonia. Congratulations and good morning.
Good morning, Brenda. Okay, everybody's muted. Good morning, everybody. Okay, let's see now. We're reading the daily word. Today's daily word is world peace. Celebrating diversity and affirming unity. I am a presence of peace in the world. The road to world peace begins with my open-hearted acceptance of those who are different than me. Our world is vast and diverse, and its people come from a wide variety of cultures and histories. The more I learn about those whose lives differ from mine, the more I can appreciate their perspectives and empathize with their struggles. When I make the decision to understand others, I discover that judgment fades in the light of compassion. Today, I sow peace through my acceptance and understanding. Peace in the world grows as I join my brothers and sisters in celebrating the glory of human diversity and affirming oneness in God. And from Isaiah chapter 2, verse 4, nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. Celebrating diversity and affirming unity. I am a presence of peace in the world. Let's take that idea into our time of affirmative prayer. And for that, I'm going to welcome back our prayer partner today, Susan Hager. Susan.
Thank you, Brenda. Yes, so this month we are celebrating the power of wisdom. the ability to evaluate, discern, apply what you know. The disciple is James, son of Zebedee. The color is yellow, and the location in the pit of the stomach. The affirmation, I am guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, and action. Let's say it again. Say it to yourself, please. I am guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, and action. This month, we are holding in prayer Unity of Edmonton, Alberta, and Unity of Calgary, spiritual community in Alberta. So I invite you now to consider those who you are holding in your heart and mind for prayer, those whose names you have lovingly placed in the chat box. And we want to hold them in prayer together now. So let us do that. And I invite you to close your eyes if you wish and center within again to that glowing flame in your heart. And let us ask ourselves through the power of wisdom, what cannot be healed? We are open to possibilities, and our prayerful mind allows us to expand and be even more open. We keep God in all things, in all matters, and we use our power of faith as well to connect with divine mind, to be sure of this truth. We want to turn away from our intellectual pursuit toward wisdom, this inherent quality that we embody. Wisdom is pure, gentle, reasonable, full of mercy, unwavering, filled with peace. Our spiritual wisdom frees us from relying upon knowledge. It frees us from thinking we have to have the answer. And don't we know that we do not feel often that we have the answer, but we rely upon the power of spirit, the power of wisdom in our lives. This quiet, still, discerning voice. We are wisdom. And we hold this for those who we love, for the world at large, knowing that there is wisdom in all things, whether we see it or not. And we are informed as we connect with this light and this love. And for the wisdom that is flowing through us, we are ever so grateful. And we release this prayer and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Susan. And guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, and action. All right, let's get into our talk. It's time for Reverend Roxanne Buckle. Now this morning, as I mentioned, we're beginning our examination of our spiritual light of wisdom, our innate ability to make spirit-led decisions, especially under tough circumstances. And as the song Let It Be asserts, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Now I wonder if Paul McCartney had any idea at 26 years of age, when he found himself in times of trouble and was comforted by his deceased mother in a dream, and then he got up and just quickly wrote that little ditty. If he knew that half a century later, we'd still study it and examine it and use it as such a beautiful example of spiritual wisdom. So this morning, our beloved Reverend Roxanne Buckle is exploring the metaphysical meaning of Mary, Mother of Jesus, what it means to let it be, and we'll deepen our understanding of how Myrtle Fillmore accessed her divine power of wisdom and made some radical, for the day, decisions that led us to her transformation and to the founding of the Unity movement. So without further ado, good morning again, Reverend Roxanne Buckle. Welcome home.
Good morning. Good morning. It's wonderful to be here, and I'm going to choose to stay in the energy of that glorious glorious prayer that Susan has established, the consciousness and the awareness, and Brenda, your words of wisdom. And we're going to move into a time of meditation to open us to the message. And Spencer's going to lead us into that in what I call the relaxation phase of affirmative prayer or meditation with the song Let Go of the Shore. And then we'll have a time of meditation to deepen our consciousness. And then Spencer will do the song Let It Be, and then I'll deliver the Sunday lesson. So just invite you to relax and just hear the words from this song as we allow it to open our hearts and open our mind.
Let go of the shore and let the water carry me. Let go of the shore, flow into the mystery. Let go of the shore and let the water carry me. Let go of the shore, flow into the mystery. I have all I have, it's all inside of me. Close my eyes and breathe and know that I am safe. Let go of the shore and let the water carry me. Let go of the shore, flow into the mystery. Flow into the mystery.
And I invite you to close your eyes if you haven't already done so. Close your outer eyes as we look to open up our inner awareness and continue to turn within, letting go of the focus on that which is in the outer, and turn our attention to the inner. As we still our body, quiet our mind, and just invite in focusing on our breath. The breath that is always there, just as the divine within, that knowing of the one power and the one presence is always there. It is when we focus more deeply our awareness, our consciousness on that we can unravel that mystery and access the power within. And I also invite you to just become aware of that region in your body where that seat, that physical seat of wisdom is, as Sue and Brenda have mentioned, the solar plexus. And as you take a deep breath, you can feel the abdomen expanding. And then as we let go. And so we can just feel that. It may not be exactly the solar plexus, but we can become aware of this place in our body, deep in our abdomen. And we allow ourselves to expand into that awareness that everything I need, everything we need is within us. That solar plexus is there. That which is breathing us is there. It is omnipresence. It is eternal. It is unchanging. It is that which is our divine nature. And so our power of wisdom is there. It is installed at our creation. There is nothing to get. And there is an opportunity to deepen our consciousness, our knowing of that which is. Everything we need to know is within us. Divine nature, divine wisdom is my name in nature. Divine wisdom is my name and nature. I have divinely inherited that power of wisdom. All that is God, all that is spirit, all that is that one power, that one presence is present at the point of me. There is no separation. And so we lift the veil through our practice of meditation and prayer and contemplation. We lift the veil that separates us and we connect to that knowing. And so just like the sun peeks through a cloud, the cloudy day, and it's, that's when we can have that aha moment as we access our divine wisdom, our intuition. We can listen for that message deep within us to clarify a situation, to guide us to a decision in our highest and best, or spark an aha, or even a uh-oh, when we're having those cloudy days in our minds. And so our divine power of wisdom allows us to access a newer, more divinely guided new thought. And the affirmation that both Sue and Brenda have shared with us this morning, I'm going to invite a deepening of that as we take that into a time of silence and let it marinate in our awareness and consciousness. I can handle any circumstance by tapping into the wisdom within me. I can handle any circumstance by tapping into the wisdom within me. It's up on the screen as well. I invite you to soft focus if you need to come out of and just affirm. Come back to this affirmation if your mind wanders, which it surely will. That's what the mind does. But come back to this. I can handle any circumstance by tapping into the wisdom within me. And let us take that into the silence. I can handle any circumstance by tapping into the wisdom within me. I give thanks for this opportunity to deepen, to take a time apart, to expand and shift my consciousness into a greater realization of the power of wisdom that I am. I give thanks for these teachings, for the opportunity to be together in co-creative community. Even though we may be apart in physicality, we know that we are connected as one. And so in that spirit, we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And at your own pace and in your own time, I invite you to bring your attention back to the physical space that you're inhabiting. We begin to open our awareness a little bit to the Sunday lesson that's going to begin with Spencer, who will bless us with the song, Let It Be, that ability to apply wisdom, to apply our spiritual understanding in these times of trouble. Thank you, Spencer.
All right. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. When the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For the world may be parted, there is still a chance that we will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. When the night is cloudy, there's a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
Thank you, Spencer. Beautiful, beautiful. When she was 40 years old, Myrtle Fillmore, at the time, not Unity's co-founder, she found herself in times of trouble. Her body was wasting away. She was frail. She had been for many years, practically her whole life, fraught by a racking cough and great weakness, a medical label of tuberculosis and prognosis of 6 months to live. Myrtle had tried so many of the prescribed remedies of the time. And being it was the late 1880s, some were pretty weird and wacky. For years, she and her husband Charles had moved from place to place to find a more hospitable climate for the ailing Myrtle. It was quite an hour of darkness. In spite of her ailing body, though, Myrtle had an agile mind and an indomitable spirit. There is still a light that shines on me. There was an impulse, an intuition deep within her that there was something beyond the physical that would help her. She had a deep faith but did not quite understand what it was about. She was guided to attend a public lecture. Pretty common thing in those days. You know, this was the burgeoning, as Brenda mentioned, of the New Thought movement, right? So there were lots of metaphysicians traveling around giving lectures. And this one particular lecture that Myrtle attended featured metaphysician Dr. E.B. Weeks. Just going to take a moment. Sheila, can I just ask you a question? For some reason, I'm only seeing myself. I know if you could just, yeah, maybe do pin instead. Thank you. I'd much rather look at someone else other than myself. Okay, well, we'll just take our chances. I just want to, digress for a minute. One of the weird things about being on Zoom during this pandemic is where in our life are we speaking and doing things where we're constantly seeing ourselves. So I'm thankful for you for taking that down, because it's just really weird to be seeing myself. So that's great. Because I wasn't seeing anybody else. So anyways, so she's at this lecture, she's been seeking because she's like really having trouble. And this metaphysician, Dr. E.B. Weeks, during this, Myrtle heard something, and you'll all relate to this, right? Because we can have an instant healing in consciousness. It might not happen automatically in our bodies or our relationships, but she heard something that touched her to her core and ultimately changed her life and precipitated the founding of the Unity Spiritual Movement. And what she heard was these words I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit illness. So what happened first is that Myrtle expanded her consciousness, her awareness of the truth of her being, which is Unity's second principle, right? In a nutshell, all that God is, I am. So this is radical, right? This is new thought. This is very, very radical. So Myrtle's healing journey started with an awareness of her divine identity, her divine nature, and in that knowing the divine qualities such as wholeness, as opposed to illness, right? And so, as Brenda mentioned, we've been studying the 12 powers, and just want to quickly check out Myrtle's story from the standpoint of the two and now three powers that we've been looking at. So, which is our spiritual curriculum this year, right? To deepen into the awareness of those divine ideas, those 12 powers that are aspects and qualities of the divine nature, right? Which constitute the pattern for perfection within us. I just want you to hear that. I just want you to really know that. They constitute the pattern for perfection within us. That idea that, we're born in original blessing. There's nothing to be saved here. We're just like, there's just something to be expressed as we get rid of all that baggage we've taken on, right? So our job is to embody them into our physical human reality. So in January, we deepened into faith, the foundation of the 12 powers. So faith is our ability to know that which is unseen, to believe in truth principles, even when they cannot be perceived in physicality. And truth principles can't, they're invisible, right? So for example, to know of my wholeness this week in the midst of severe hip pain. So Myrtle came to know of her wholeness, an aspect of her divine nature, even in the midst of a diagnosis of tuberculosis and a prognosis of 6 months. So faith is that perceiving power of the mind to shape all that is within the realm of divine mind and bring it into manifestation through our connection to that. And then last month, February, we further embodied our divine faculty of strength, which is our ability to stay the course, right? To remain anchored in truth in the face of shifting, daunting circumstances, and in the midst of extreme physical illness. And also, the Fillmores were in a very challenging financial situation. Myrtle was steadfast in seeking, in her studying, in her attendance at lectures, her trying of many, many modalities. She never gave up. And then through her healing, her power of strength, which we'll get to. Now, wisdom, we've already, through the prayers and the reading of the daily word and Brenda's introduction, and God bless you, Brenda, for tackling Charles Fillmore. Woo-wee! I'll give you I want to give you a gold star there. So wisdom is our incredible power to make choices that I like to say are spirit fed, right? So when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Now, metaphysically, whether it's someone's mother or the mother Mary, the mother of Jesus, our fullest expression of our divine nature, which is Jesus. Mary represents our soul nature, our consciousness, that part of us that can be made aware of our divine nature or spirit. And it's important here to keep in mind, those of you who've studied metaphysics, unity metaphysics, keep in mind that in unity, we see the soul as part of that threefold nature of being, which is spirit. I kind of do this: spirit, soul, body, right? And the soul is that gateway between the body and the spirit that can pivot. And I loved Susan's prayer where she talks about pivot. That can pivot either to the physical or spiritual in any situation. This is where the power of the pivotal nature of consciousness comes in. And from the revealing word, which is one of Unity's metaphysical texts, Mary, the mother of Jesus, represents the soul that magnifies the Lord daily in the temple, and through its devotions prepares itself for the higher life. She signifies the divine motherhood of love. She can also be said to be intuition. So just going to unpack this a little bit more. And I have to say, I love the synchronicity of everything that goes on prior to the Sunday lesson. And, it's just, we really are of one mind, Susan's prayers and Brenda's words, which, we really didn't get together in the physicality to plan this. So Mary represents, it says, the soul that magnifies the Lord. So Mary is our spiritual consciousness, which gives birth to a greater awareness. So she gave birth to Jesus in the physicality, which gives birth to a greater awareness and connection to divine ideas. Okay. Just as Mary gave birth to Jesus, the highest expression of our divine nature. Right. So she can also be said to be intuition, which is an aspect of wisdom that we want to be aware of, right? Intuition is the faculty within us that says yes or no. You know that, right? When you have a decision to make and you do a gut check or ask someone else, what's your gut say to someone struggling with the decision, which is all, of course, related to the location of that energy center, right? The solar plexus, the gut, and that answer that comes from deep within and usually brings the answer, that aha moment or that uh-oh moment. And when we listen to that, and maybe one of the things that could be discussed at the breakout room is like, any examples of when in your life you've listened to that intuition or not listened to that intuition might be kind of a fun thing to do. And then finally, love. And as Brenda mentioned, love and wisdom are partner 12 powers, just like faith and strength are. And James, the disciple of wisdom, was the brother of John, the disciple of love, which we're going to explore next month. And a little bit more about that later. So here was Myrtle. Okay. So we got that, here's Myrtle in the late 1880s when the example set in the world is tuberculosis is a death sentence. And since childhood, she had been told, this is your lot, you've inherited it runs in the family, yada, yada, yada. Don't we get that, eh? Where in your life is, I can't get over this. My mother only lived this long, or everyone in my family has terrible relationships. My parents were terrible with money, I'm terrible, da, 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 right? So is she going to choose from the level of spirit, that pivotal nature of the soul, that Mary consciousness, or the level of the small s self, ego or personality? And I get caught up in that as well. So wisdom is our decision-making capacity to apply spiritual understanding to whatever we're facing. It's our ability to make decisions to apply spiritual understanding to whatever we're facing. And I'm not saying that the physical doesn't come into it, but when we start with the wisdom, right? And then we take action based on that. So it's that ability to discern that which is in our highest and best when we apply our knowledge of divine principles in a situation. Just a personal example, and then we'll get back to Myrtle's story. So one day last week, I'd been in virtual meetings all morning. And as I mentioned to you, the hip is experiencing some pain. And I had 30 minutes before my next one and also some prep to do. And, had I let myself be captured into the physical, into the busyness of, I better just stay and prepare, I just went within and I said, what is the highest and best for me in this moment? how to spend that time after sitting for 4 hours straight. So wisdom is that ability to discern that, you know what, a 20-minute walk outside in the sunshine was what I did. So this is simple to apply, you know, in those simple times. And then I came back in 5 minutes, I did the prep for the meeting. So I've been working with this affirmation, and I invite you to work with it too. The one that we shared earlier. I can handle any circumstance by tapping into the wisdom within me. And let us know this together. I invite you to say it. I can handle any circumstance by tapping into the wisdom within me. You know, and I also activated my power of wisdom when I canceled out of a 2-hour meeting on Friday night. I had a very full week. The hip needed no more sitting. So I discerned that a yes to lying down and nurturing my soul. I watched some bookmarked Unity services was what I needed, and not another meeting. So wisdom is the power to know balance also. So I was getting the message of balance, that I had been out of balance and needed that. And so Myrtle's healing is also such an excellent demonstration of divine wisdom, you know, of living from a place of truth. And so when through that power of wisdom, we tap into our divine nature, we access that truth. I believe that's what is meant in the song, speaking words of wisdom, the power of the word. That's the power of affirmative prayer. In her healing journey, Myrtle spoke words of truth to her body temple. You know, in Unity, we look at the body as yes, physical, but it's the temple of the spirit, of the soul and spirit. So she began to go through all the organs and parts of her body. And she said this, and I quote, I went to all the life centers in my body and spoke words of truth to them, words of strength and power. She further says, life is simply a form of energy, right? We know that. We know now. The science supports this. Again, the Fillmores, as Brenda mentioned, way ahead of their time here. Life is simply a form of energy and has to be guided and directed in man's body by his intelligence. How do we communicate intelligence? By thinking and talking, of course. Then it flashed upon me that I might talk to the life in every part of my body and have it do just what I wanted. I began to teach my body and got marvelous results. So she actually sent each organ love and expressed gratitude for them. She would envision them functioning perfectly. Myrtle spoke to her body, to the organs and cells, you know, and listen to the power behind these words, right? I told the life in my liver that it was full of vigor and energy. I told the life in my stomach that it was energetic, strong, and intelligent. So she's using these really, like, you know, I told the life in my abdomen that it was all alive and with the sweet, pure, wholesome energy of God. You know, really, you know, it's important here to you know, tie all this back. Unity's first principle. There is one power and one presence active in the universe and in my life. God, spirit, divine mind. And so there is nowhere that God is not. So Myrtle recognized this. And through her power of wisdom, she began to take the steps necessary to correct that. And she remained steadfast, right? Like she applied her power of strength to her healing journey as well. What the stories often leave out, and this is where it really is important for us to realize this and, you know, really come to a little bit of an understanding of why or how daily spiritual practice is important. It took Myrtle 2 years of sitting for about 2 hours a day. You know, so this her healing and consciousness, her awareness of that divinity in her may have been instantaneous, but the healing of her body was not. And it was not a miracle either. It was an outpicturing of divine law. You know, so this is where I think it's important. You know, we're not in the 1880s. We're now, you know, we have lots of things competing for our attention. But as we take that time and remember, you know, this isn't just going to happen in an instant. But what I love is that someone after the Serenity service at Unity Ottawa last week, which is this beautiful service of just deepening into our awareness of our divine nature, someone shared afterwards, and I concurred because I even felt a release in my back. They felt They actually had a lived experience of a physical shift. And that was an hour. So imagine what we could do if we stayed steadfast in the way that Myrtle has. Okay. So she didn't become discouraged, she said, at my cells being slow to wake up, but kept right on because you know, it's we've had a lifetime of taking on these what in Unity we classify as error beliefs, right? And it takes a while to shift our consciousness. Yeah. You know, and so Myrtle, she also says, and I'll just skip ahead here. I know we're really taking a bit of time, but she said, I would always bless my body and encourage it with true thoughts and words, right? And you know, I think Myrtle was doing heart math stuff long before it was called that. And what she was recognizing is that words by themselves really don't have the power to change anything, but it's words coupled with feeling that have power. We want our words to evoke a feeling tone. You know, we train our prayer chaplains, our prayer partners to be like, it's like add the feeling. You experienced that in the prayers this morning, right? And we know what it and we know what that's like, you know, that feeling tone of love and gratitude. It generates a vibration, right? A higher vibration. And it's that vibration that lifts the physical body so healing can happen, you know? And that's why wisdom together with love is a powerful combination, right? This past week, I was doing what I call serious myrtleizing of the pain in the lower back and hip. And I'm a firm believer, for those of you who've been around me, and I'm a firm believer that when we work these principles, they work. When we work them, they work. And that's what I've always so appreciated about Unity, that practical aspect. And so I'm going to invite you to the Spiritual Cafe. I had actually planned to do an abbreviated version of what I've been doing this week, that idea of sitting, connecting with our divine nature, and really speaking those words of wisdom, those powerful divine ideas to our body or to whatever challenge is facing you right now, whatever time of trouble you're in. It might be a relationship issue. It might be a financial challenge, right? And I'm not going to take the time now, but what I want to do is invite you. I want to invite you to the Spiritual Cafe on Tuesday, because I would love to take you through this meditation, because I have been experiencing some positive results in the lessening of the pain that's in the lower back and hip. And I'm not suggesting that I do stuff like I've been taking some painkillers, you know, and so it's like this omnipresence of the divine is in everything. But we start first with the guidance, right? We start first with the wisdom, and then we take the action. So I really love this idea of wisdom and love working together. So we use the gratitude, right? And the love of our heart connected to our wisdom as we go deep within a situation. So I'm going to invite you to come to the Spiritual Cafe on Tuesday morning, and I'd love to take you through that. Okay. And so it's really important to take that time to listen. The wisdom we obtain from divine mind, our higher self, might come in whispers, as the song suggests, right? Whisper words of wisdom. So what do we need to do? We need to be silent. And that's why in Unity, we speak so much about the importance of taking that time apart, being in the silence. And so in the week ahead, you know, just to wrap it up here, when you find yourself in times of trouble, notice your tendency to want to spur into action, to fix something, or to jump to conclusions and react from our only human conditioning. Instead, consider turning away from those outer appearances and becoming still, turning within and listening to those whispered words of wisdom. Your merry consciousness, your consciousness of wisdom, the wisdom within which never is leaving you. And just behold what emerges. Thank you so much. It's been so wonderful to share these teachings with you, and I'll turn it back over to Brenda, and just wonderful to be with you.
Thank you, Roxanne. Well, I found it interesting, just as you were mentioning about the physical manifestation of the thought. I was just at that very moment, just realizing I could feel, and I invite any of you, did you feel the same thing? I felt a shift physically in my body as we were putting all of our attention to our wisdom. I could feel this strengthening at my solar plexus, and I could feel kind of confidence welling up in me just from the noticing and just from the putting attention. It's so important. So absolutely, everybody, cafe Tuesday morning. Let's move on further into this. All right, what a beautiful, and Roxanne, no one does it like you. Thank you for your whispered words of wisdom.
Thank you. And I'm really loving my pre-pandemic hair there, Sheila. So if you could move off that slide now, that would be great.
All right, let's move on to prosperity, because aren't we just don't we have a million reasons to be grateful? It's our financial giving that makes all the difference to our spiritual centers, both here in Ottawa and in Kitchener. And the reason that we're able to live our mission of expanding consciousness and transforming lives is 100% because of our financial generosity to our communities. And just as the spiritual programming of awakening and evolution that we offer is so needed in the world, so too is the financial support to make that happen, to sustain and nourish that which feeds us, our source, our supply. So we affirm that with ease and joy, we supportively co-create our vibrant spiritual communities. So let's say the affirmation on the screen together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I have, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Now, a reminder, there are a variety of ways to make it easy to give financially. There are donate buttons on both our websites. You can use the Tithely app, you can do e-transfers, you can send a check, and each of our communities knows how to do this. And I throw out a special call once again to Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa. Wouldn't it be fantastic if we were just to blow off that $2,000 today? I'm issuing the challenge. Let's add your designated tithe to support our prayer partners in their training. Spencer, I think it's time to hear a song.
I think
and how about The World We Love by Raffi and Michael Kreber?
Yes. Here's to the world we love, blue skies and ponies, children at play, earth below, stars above, God bless it every day. Here and welcome the sun, there's buds on the branches, morning's begun, dewdrops and birds starting to sing, praise for a brand new day. Here's to the world we love, blue skies and ponies, children at play, earth below, stars above, God bless it every day. Farmer out to work in the fields, seedling to harvest, food for our meals. Mothers and fathers, hearts filled with love for each and every day. Here's to the world we love, blue skies and ponies, children God bless it every day. Here's to the rivers that run wild and free, the pull of the tide, the rush to the sea, gold crimson sunsets to color our dreams in each and every day. Here's to the world we love, blue skies and ponies, children at play, earth below, stars above. God bless it every day. God bless it every day.
God bless it every day. Thank you, Spencer. We have so many reasons to be grateful. And let's affirm our blessing of our communities together. We are abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Divine ideas flow through us. Financial resources bless us. And we accomplish mighty works together. And it's again a new month, and we have a new bird. This morning we're looking at the mourning dove. Sheila, fill us in.
Morning. Hi again. Thanks, Brenda. I want to do a little play on words. It's the first Sunday of the month, so it's Bird Day Sunday. The only problem with Zoom is I don't know if anyone's laughing at that, but I'm just going to assume you are. So yeah.
I am.
Okay, good. Thanks, Brenda. So yeah, this will be in honor of Denis up in Sudbury, who mentioned turtle doves this morning. He, unbeknownst to him, the mourning dove was my choice for the month of March. They're also called turtle doves. So the reason I picked the mourning dove, I didn't realize that there was going to be a link to any of the spiritual teaching. I generally tend to shy away from that, but when I was listening to Reverend Roxanne's talk, I thought one of the reasons I chose the mourning dove is because I love their sense of kind of Zen. I have them in my backyard and they sit perched either on my platform feeder or on branches or on the railing of my deck in the summer, and they just look so zen and relaxed and beautiful. They're muted, kind of subdued colors, but when you take a look at that bird, it's absolutely gorgeous, and even more so in actual sunlight in real life. And I think I often take heart when I watch them and observe them. I think I appreciate the wisdom of just sitting still, not flitting about or fretting or anything like that. They're very zen, kind of calm birds. Also, they can fly as fast as 88 kilometers an hour. They're a very, very fast bird. Most birds average around, I think I wrote down, they can peak out at about 40 kilometers an hour, most average birds. So 88 kilometers an hour is fast for these little guys who can also be very zen on a branch. Anyways, not to get into too much detail, I love them. The reason they are called mourning, and you notice the U, it's mourning as in lamenting, not mourning as in good morning. It's because their cooing sound, it does sound rather sad and like a lament more than anything. And it's actually only mostly ever heard by the males. And it's kind of more of a wooing than a cooing because they're actually trying to attract a mate. And that's why they make that beautiful sound, which I love. It reminds me of England too, and a dear departed aunt of mine who used to live in England, and the sound of the mourning dove brings me right back to her peaceful backyard. Anyways, that's about it. But I do, as a treat, I did this once before last year with the loon, but I thought sometimes sound is really important to the experience of birds for me. So I decided to embed a little bit of the sound into a slide for you to hear of the mourning dove as my gift for March. So enjoy, and thanks for letting me share this.
Thank you, Sheila. What a lovely pause in the day. And especially when we've taken in so much through this love, our time together. It was lovely to just kind of listen to the sound of the morning dove. Our blessings just continue. We move on now to the blessings that the children make in our lives, our sons and daughters and grandchildren and nieces and nephews and neighbors, these bright, beautiful souls that come to the earth to have their experience. Let's affirm together that you are the peace, the love, and the light of this world. Let your light shine. Spencer.
All right. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'm gonna take this light around the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Take this light around the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Take this light around the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Every day, I'm gonna let my little light shine.
And Sheila, just before you move on, I failed to mention that we are acknowledging Deb Maloney's grandson, Christopher, and his best friend, Estelle. So Deb, you have reason to be proud of that beautiful grandson. And isn't it sweet? His best friend is Estelle. Okay, let the love continue. Birthday Sunday. And so far, let me check again, I only had Lovey offering her birthday in March. So Lovey, a very, very special happy birthday.
Penny.
And Penny, sorry, you are too. I missed that one.
I just saw them.
Okay, you will stand in for all the March birthdays in our world and receive the love that we are sending to you both. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, we love you. Happy birthday, and may all your dreams come true. When you blow out the candle, one light stays aglow. It's the love light in your eyes wherever you go.
Happy birthday to you both. May your year ahead be exceptional for you in every way. Okay, where are we here? Thank you. It's easy to kind of express to the obvious people our gratitude. That would be Reverend Roxanne for your talk, Spencer for your wonderful music, Susan for your prayers, Sonia for the daily words, Sheila for your role in getting us through this service, Candace for your coordinating the fellowship beforehand. Thank you to each of you. But also, there are so many people whose names and faces we don't put together on Sunday morning, but are tirelessly working for our community behind the scenes, working on the website, working on the newsletter, going to the board meetings, doing the scheduling, keeping us going. And thank you to you day in, day out. It's much, much more than Sunday morning, this community. So we would be nowhere without you. And we invite any of you who feel that I have a little something to offer to this community, maybe I could. If you have a little voice going, maybe I could, follow it. We've been talking about that today. That's your wisdom. That's your intuition. That's your gut instinct. Don't yabbit yourself out of it. So offer yourself to our community because many hands make light work, and we will welcome your participation. Okay, next week, cousins are going to get together in Kitchener, and we have a little piece of home with us because your guest speaker next week is Michael Swinwood, who, speaking of wisdom, I consider Michael a sage, and I look forward to hearing his talk on wisdom. Seek and you shall find, and I'm sure you all will as well. So we'll catch you in Kitchener online next Sunday. We're looking forward to that. Let's see, our prayer partner is on duty all through the week. So if you need prayer, and Kitchener, same applies to you, I'm sure. You can go online and request prayer. Let the office know. You can go online at Unity. You can call Silent Unity. This movement is all about affirmative prayer, and there are so many ways to find it. So don't hesitate. Listen to your little voice within, and don't talk yourself out of what might change your life if you just went yes. I'm going to invite you to stay for fellowship, and we can talk a little further about, oh, we had so much today, didn't we? What a great morning. I'll leave you with one final quote from Myrtle Fillmore. The mind of the spirit will guide you in perfect ways, even in the minute details of your life, if you will let it. So let it. Okay, we're going to hold out our hands and receive the prayer of protection and pretend we're together in a room. Well, we are together, but not in a room. And then we'll virtually hold hands and keep our connection today and through the week until we're together with Kitchener again next Sunday and receive our blessing. So, Spencer, bring it home. Have a beautiful week, everybody, and namaste.
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let there be love on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be love on earth, the love that was meant to be. With God ever present, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let love begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment, live each moment to love eternally.